Hello and welcome to Paper Plays Julie K.
Welcome everyone, and thank you so much for stopping by to check out my latest video. And today I'm here working on the hashtag Little Bits of Lace 2024, started by Cori Dahmen here on YouTube. I do have Cori's channel or the original video listed below in the description box, and along with all of the other videos that I have done in this series. And basically the premise of this challenge is to use up little bits of lace in our stash for items that we can put into our junk journals. And I have quite a few videos available in this series, so do check those out in the description box. And today's inspiration is from something that I've done before here on YouTube. Quite a while ago, I created these fun little like Victorian paper dolls using a digital from tailor-made journals. And these were some of the original ones that I had made. And what I like to do with these is put a little like clip on the back, glue a clip, and then I attach them like to a bag on Happy Mail. But I thought, wouldn't these be cute to create some paper clips? So I think we're gonna try and create one of these today, making a paper clip. And then I also had an idea similar to it for another paper clip using a die cut. And then also I have like a little like corset tag that I thought would be fun to decorate for little bits of lace. So I have three things that we're going to make today in this video. The first one is the paper doll, that kind of like what I just showed you guys. And so I am starting off with the digital, again from TaylorMade Journals, which I will link Lorna's digital kit below in case you guys don't have this one. It's a really fun digital kit, but there's all sorts of wonderful little like Victorian ladies, and like here's one of the sheets. Here's it printed a little bit bigger. This is like the 8x10 that I printed off, and then here I printed off 5x7. And what was nice is that Lorna did have mirror images so that you can put one on the front and the back. And this was something she did after I had originally created these. And I just said it would be nice to have something for the back side. And so she did create the mirror image. So that was really nice. So as you can see here, I did print these off on their 5x7. And I just printed off 2 on the page. And I printed off both mirror images so you can kind of see the different mirror images, hopefully. And then what I did from there, after I printed them off, is I did cut out this cute little girl, both mirror images. And then you can see, hopefully, I attached her to a piece of white cardstock. I think it was like maybe 64-pound cardstock. And I extended it just a little bit, just so it gives me a little bit more space to glue. So hopefully you can kind of see right here is where it ends, where I cut it out because there just wasn't space to do more. I did cut her out from this space right here, up here, and there wasn't more space. Like if you were to cut one of these out, there'd be more space underneath to use. But I did have to attach her to a piece of cardstock. So hopefully that makes sense. I just did that before I started filming. If you want to, at this point, you could go around and ink the edges. I did kind of try and cut them out so that they look like they're pretty close to matching with the little border image around both sides. And I am going to make a hidden paper clip with these. So here's my paper clip. And I will glue one gal on the front and then the other beautiful little girl on the other side. My plan is to cut around more of this paper that you see here, but I'll do that after a bit. So what I do want to do is decorate. And one of the girls, because we'll see her on 2 different sides of our journal page. So last time when I created those paper dolls with Lorna's beautiful kit, I had cut up a whole bunch of curtains. And I still have remnants left over from that. So I'm thinking one of the sides, I'm going to use these to decorate the little girl up. And they are kind of wide. So I am going to trim them down and make little thinner strips for this one. So I'm going to continue to do that. So I have some more strips and I will be back. I don't think you guys want to sit and watch me cut all of these strips, but I'm going to keep on cutting these. and I will be back shortly. So I am back with my little remnants here of lace curtain. I also have a piece of tulle, and it does measure like 12 by 4. And I'm going to fold it in half. And I think I'm going to do this on both sides. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, I think I'm going to glue it kind of on the back side maybe. And I'm hoping what this is going to do is just add a little bit more stability for when I glue down the little remnants here. So I'm going to put this on the back side. And I can always cut it down. And I'm going to use hot glue today. And so I'm just going to put a little strip of glue just across the back. And I'm just going to try and gather this up and just stick it in the hot glue in a couple of spots. It doesn't have to be perfect. So I just need a little bit more glue, it looks like. Just be careful not to burn yourself. So that's what it looks like so far. And then for this side, it's going to be pretty simple, I think, just because I want to use up some of these remnants that I had left over. Again, I think these are pretty long, but they do measure 12 inches, so they do fit my rule of being able to use up scraps that are 12 inches or less. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut them in half again, which I should have done the first time just to make them a little smaller. So we'll just start with those few. And I'm just going to layer them onto the beautiful little girl here. And then we'll put some sort of like top cover piece on her too to kind of cover up so that you don't see that this is white right here. So I'm just going to start down a row down low, and then I'll do one up a little bit higher. And besides making paper clips, the original ones that I showed you guys, the blue ladies, you definitely could use those like on the cover of a journal too, instead of adding a clip behind it. They would make really fun covers. And oftentimes I start off with a little bit longer than what I need because you can always trim them down. And I think I want to grab a little bit of ribbon to throw in here. I think it needs a little bit more, so I'm going to go grab some ribbon real quick. So I'm choosing to use some ribbon that looks like this. I don't know if this says if it's like 1/4 inch. Or the width is 3/16 of an inch on this one. And I'm just going to layer a couple of pieces in here too of this just to add a little bit of color. So that's what she looks like right there. I really like that. I think that's really cute. And so to finish her off, just to make it look a little more finished, I'm just trying to think if there's something else. Like you could add like another layer here to the front of some leftover lace. Kind of like that. And then I could put something like that on her, or just leave it like this and then maybe add like a little bow in the middle. So I think I like that, not a bow, but the little flower. I got that in some Happy Mail a while ago. The other thing I like to do when I pick out the images from Taylor's kit is I like to use the ones that have the hands in them versus just the ones that are the heads, just because I think it looks kind of weird if you just hang like material from like someone's shoulders. It doesn't look quite as realistic. So I like to use the ones that have the hands in them. But that, again, that's just my preference. So I have this remnant right here of some lace. And again, I'm just going to hot glue this onto her. And I'm just going to try to kind of gather it and kind of bunch it up in a few spots as I'm gluing it down. Don't know if you can see that or not, but so that's what this side looks like. I think that's really cute. And then I did find also in my stash of leftover lace, I have these two little pieces here. Not one piece, but I'm going to cut it in half. And I'm thinking that, you know, she has the little bow in her hair, that I could stick this right there, and I think that would be really cute. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I think this was some lace, probably off of a wedding dress. And I still might trim this down a little bit more, make this a little bit shorter. But let's finish the other side and then make a decision whether or not we're going to cut that down. So I have the other little gal, and we're going to do pretty much the same thing, but I'm going to choose to do some different lace. I am going to start off again with the tulle. I think that's just a nice little layer, and I need to cut off a little bit of this one. And again, I'm just going to do the same steps with gluing the tulle on the back side. And for this one, I'm going to start off with, I found this piece that's 12 inches in my stash, and then there was one that was a little bit shorter in my stash of leftover lace. And so what I'm thinking is I can either cut this one in half, which I think I will. So let's cut this one down. And then I'll cut this one to the same size also, so I'll just have a little bit to cut off of that one. So let's start off with gluing these down. So I just have this one piece right here of kind of a pinkish color lace. And I'm just going to cut this one in half. And I'm going to glue that one down also. So in my stash, I also found some trim like this. And I did cut this down. I had a bunch of this rickrack that I got in a grab bag, so I did cut it down to 6-inch strips to work for this project. And so I'm going to glue these down, and then also these other couple pieces of lace that I found, just in the same manner. I'm going to keep on working, but I'm going to do that off camera just so you guys don't have to watch all of this on camera. Again, we're going to put it together somewhat the same, and then I'll find some sort of pretty lace to put over the top. So I'll be back for that part. So here's what this little girl looks like. And I have a couple ideas in my head and I don't know which one I'm going to go with. I still have a piece left over like what we did on the other side. I could finish her up the same way. I did find some fun little appliques in my stash. Here was a remnant of one too, which I thought that one might not look too bad on the front of her dress. Or I could use a little bit longer one, like this one, and put that down. And for whatever reason, I kind of like that. I know it's a little out there, but I think that's what I'm going to do for her. You know, sometimes I'll add like a fancy like Venice type lace or something on the top. So other options, again, I'll just show you the two that I had already shown you at the beginning of the video. And you can kind of see what I did on the waist of this one with trims. And this one I had this pretty little bow lace that I added on the middle of her. So there's all sorts of options you can do. And again, I might cut down a little bit of this one. Some of these seem to be a little long, so I'm just going to trim them. So that's cute. And again, I thought I had, let's see, this little bow right here to add to her. And I might add her after, let me see, I'm just going to hold them up back to back a little bit here. See what they look like. Just so I can get the angle somewhat the same. That's cute. I like that. She's going to add a little bit of bulk to my journal, but that's okay. Really cute. I don't know which side I like better. I think both are really cute. All right, so now we have we're going to make this into a hidden paper clip. So again, I'm just taking a scrap piece of paper and I'm folding it in half. I'm going to stick the paper clip over the top because I'll be able to hook it. If this was my journal page, I could hook it this way onto the page. So hopefully that makes sense. So a hidden paper clip. And we're going to glue the girls on each side of this. And I am going to rip this paper down on the outside so you won't see that paper. And I might try and do that right now a little bit. Just rip it down a little bit. And again, this just has to be scrap paper. It doesn't matter what it is. So I think that will cover that. Should work. So I'm going to go ahead and put some glue on this side. And again, when I slip it onto a journal, I'm slipping it right through this part right here. That's where it's hooking up. So I'm going to put glue on this back side. I'm going to do my best to match the girls up the best I can. So let's see if this works, if I did this right. So this was my journal page. I should be able to, in theory. It's a little bulky, but it does work. I can hook her up like this onto a page. Isn't that cute? I accidentally had glue where I didn't want it, so. So I should have just had, what I did wrong is I had a little bit of glue on the white part, and I should have only had glue on the scrap piece of paper on the back side, but I was able to lift it all up, so I should be good. I don't know if you guys caught that or not, but when I was gluing, there, now she'll hook up a little bit better on a piece of paper. But isn't that cute? I love that. All right, so that's the first one we're making. So now I have another one. So for the next paper clip that we're going to do in this similar fashion is I did cut out from this Tim Holtz Alterations Sewing Room. I did cut out this little like mannequin. And I cut it out. This is like a piece of a little bit thicker. It's packaging, but it happened to be white. It's kind of like chipboard, a little bit like a lightweight chipboard. I also cut it out in kind of an off-white or cream color, and I cut it out in this pink scrapbooking paper. I did place a paper clip on the chipboard piece because this is just going to hook on, like if this was my journal page, I'm just going to have it hook on this way over the page. I think I could probably do this one as a hidden paper clip also, but I'm going to do it this way just because I want it to on the side, and I already know I have so much bulk in my journal that I don't think I want to do this one, decorate this one on both sides. So this is my base for this next paper clip using lace. And what I'm going to do for this one is, so this piece right here, I am just going to kind of trim off the bottom here. And I'm also going to trim off this top part, I think. So that's going to get glued on like that. And then I'm going to do the same thing with this pink piece. Except for on the pink piece, I'm going to kind of make a little V-neck. So I'm going to have to just kind of eyeball it. And I could draw it on if I'm a little worried here about what it's going to look like. So maybe I will, on the back side, I think I'll just draw like a little V-neck shirt. And I'll hold it up after I'm done drawing here. It doesn't have to be exact. I just want to make it look like there's a V-neck on this dress. And so that's going to get glued on like that. Or I could just take this I don't think I need this piece unless you want like another layer underneath it. I think I'm good. I'm just going to leave that piece off. So sorry about that. I had thought I wanted the layer underneath it, but I don't. So I'm just going to use this piece and I'm going to glue it on. So I'm going to go ahead and glue that down. I'm going to use glue stick and also hot glue. So I'm just going to put a little bit of hot glue right where the paper clip is, just to give it a little bit extra glue. And then I'm going to layer this on top. And again, you can see the back side of the paper clip still showing on the back side. So that's how this is going to start off with. That's the base. And for this one, this type of dress or little mannequin, I like to use laces that are gathered, kind of like this, or some samples of laces that I like to use. Here's a couple more, and these are the two that I think I'm going to use. And so for this, I do like to start off on the bottom and work my way up to the waist. And I just have to decide. Both of these trims I think are a little under 12 inches that I have left over. So I think I'm going to start off with this one, and hopefully I have enough. I'm going to zoom in just to where I'm gluing so you guys can see a little bit up close. Again, I'm going to use the hot glue. I don't know if you can kind of tell, I'm just kind of adding some extra little gathers in the lace as I'm gluing it down. And then I'll just trim it. So that's how that first layer is going to go. And then I'm going to layer another layer on top of that. So I'm going to start right there. I kind of just eyeball it, but I'm going to go up and just... And this one's kind of nicely gathered already, so I don't need to add any extra gather to it. But there's the next layer. So I'm going to add another layer. Hopefully I'll have enough. If not, we'll figure it out, I guess. Sorry about that, I was off camera over there for a second. Better just zoom out just a little bit, just in case there. Isn't that cute? So I think this is going to be my last layer here. So there's what the little skirt looks like. Isn't that cute? So now I do like to finish it off, and again you could add like a little cabochon in the middle of it if you think that's cute. You could add a bow, could also add it to the side if you like. I did have this leftover trim that I could add. I also just had this little bit of trim, this little braid trim. And I think that's kind of what I'm tempted to go with. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I'm going to just try to manipulate it so it looks a little bit more like there's a little curve to it. I'll go ahead and cut it off. And I'm still trying to decide if I add something to that yet. Kind of like that, just a flat back pearl in the middle. Okay, so another option to finish it off is we could add like a string of pearls or something on here. I sometimes like to do that. I think I kind of like that. So I'm going to go ahead and just also glue this trim down. I'm just going to glue down half of it at a time. And there's what that one looks like. Isn't that really cute? I love that one. That one turned out really cute. And again, it's a paper clip, so we can paper clip it into the journal. You know, and if you wanted to, you could still put a journal card behind there or on the other side. So that was number 2 for an idea for like a little corset type thing with lace on in your journals. And then the last one that I have, this one's a really simple one, so this one's going to go really fast, is if you already have like some sort of digital or scrapbooking paper that has a little corset on it, like so here's a tag, and this one came from a Stamperia paper pad. And this one, I am just going to glue a piece of lace on the bottom of the corset just as a little extra decoration. I could also cut it out and kind of do something similar to this, or add it as on part of a paper cluster or something if I wanted to do that, if I wanted to cut it out and use it somewhere else. But I'm going to leave it as a tag. And I'm just going to start off with putting a little bit of glue down at a time on it. And again, I'm going to add a little bit of, this is already gathered lace, but I'm going to add a little bit of extra gather to it as I'm gluing it down. So I'm kind of just bunching it up just to add a little bit of extra to it. I'm just kind of manipulating it into the shape that I want before the glue dries. Just gathering it. I don't know if I have enough to put a layer underneath, which I don't, but if you did have more of some sort of lace, you could do that. Let me just see, I have this other lace. It's probably not long enough, but we'll just see what it looks like. No, that doesn't work. Let me see if I have. So I have some of this. Let's look and see if I can add that underneath, just to use up a little bit more. Or if that's going to look a little too much. I think on certain tags that would look fine. I think it looks too much though on that one. So I'm just going to leave that one as is for today. And let's go ahead. I really like this trim, so let's go ahead and add this. right up there just as a little extra something. So there is the little tag. Very cute. Thank you again, everybody, so much for watching today. Hopefully you enjoyed today's episode, and until next time, have a wonderful day and happy crafting.